This is another non-Kiss unboxing and talking about an album. The well has run dry with Kiss for now. I'm sure there will be more to come. But for today, I'm going to talk about Iron Maiden Live After Death. And I've got the box right here. It was just delivered. It's a little bit hot. It was just freshly delivered. I had just gotten out of the shower. I had turned the water off. As soon as I touched the towel, I heard my phone ring and the guy was outside. So I ran outside like Homer with a towel wrapped around my waist and accepted his package, the Amazon driver's package. So I'm going to open that shortly. A quick note before I begin. The Kiss Animalized garbage that was all bent, all the corners when I got it last week. Damien, my friend in Australia, he's the Long Gone Loser rock show on YouTube. His real name is Damien. And he had mentioned in the comments of that video that that had happened to him in the past, and I know it's happened to a lot of people. And they've said that if you message them or something, that sometimes they would just give you a refund, tell you to keep it. And I wasn't really trying to do that, but I did leave a strongly worded note in the review. And it was frustrating because I was typing it. I don't know if I was typing it or typing it. And as I finished it, when I went to hit send, it said maximum was, I think, 400 characters. And I was like 177 characters over. So I had to leave out some stuff. And then I got it to like 209 characters. I had to cut out a little bit more. I finally got it down, and then like 4 days later, I think this was last night, I got an email from Amazon saying, we're sorry, but your review could not be posted or could not be submitted. That was the title of the email, and I read it, and it was because it said, your review is supposed to focus on the product, not the seller or the packaging or anything like that. We appreciate the time you took to write it, but please, you need to keep it about the seller. So, as with many things these days, and I know this sounds like an old man thing to complain about, but it's impossible to get customer service, let alone good customer service. And I couldn't find anywhere to contact them. Contact Amazon was just garbage. Like, it's just checkbox. What do you want? Is this product was not as received? Product was damaged? Product was delivered late? Blah, blah, blah. You have these reasons. You choose the one. Product was damaged, and then the only option was to ask for a refund and send it back. And I didn't want to send it back because I do actually want the record, but I'm still salty about the poor condition that record was in. But forget about that. So I guess that's the end of that. So I'm going to talk about Live After Death, Iron Maiden. A big proclamation I'm about to make now. It is my second favorite live album ever. I'm not even going to tell you what number one is, because you should already know. And this is my second live album. That could at least possibly be, because, well, it's a great album, but also for another reason. I saw this tour, the Live After Death, where the Power Slave, the World Slavery Tour, that this album was recorded for, at 4 nights at Long Beach Arena. In the album came out, Power Slave came out in, I think, August 1984. The tour started in August or September and went all the way through March or April 85. I think the 4 nights that they called this from in Long Beach Arena were in March, towards the end of the tour. And I think the fourth side were taken from Hammersmith, I think. I know some of them were. Anyway, now I saw that tour, and I've got a prop. Here it is. There's my ticket. Sometimes I remember to take the ticket stubs. Sometimes I don't. To show them in the videos, I mean. So there's my ticket stub. Iron Maiden and Twisted Sister, Maple Leaf Gardens, November 30th, 1984. This was a Friday night, if I remember correctly, and I think I do because I remember stupidly, I just turned 15 years old. My birthday is on November 6th. This concert was on November 30th. And I smoked back then. I smoked cigarettes. I guess I started smoking when I was like 14 or something. And so I went to this concert and I had a pack of smokes in my inside jacket pocket. And so the next day was Saturday. Now I used to be in like a basketball I don't know if it was like a basketball camp or basketball courses or organized basketball. But every Saturday morning, I used to go to a school or a gym or something and play like organized basketball. And I guess I was wearing that jacket again. And I remember when I got home, my parents were sitting in the living room. You walk in the door like this. The living room was off to the left. The kitchen was off to the right. And there was like a mirror there in front of the door. And I remember there was a chair, like a big, like a recliner chair, like a nice chair in the living room. And we just, I guess, especially when you're a kid, you could put it on the clothes rack, but we would just take it off and go like this and throw it on the chair. And my parents were both sitting in the living room. So I took off my jacket, I threw it in the chair, and as I threw it, the cigarettes, which were in the pocket like this, went like this and went like this and came flying out and flew across the room, and both my parents looked at the pack of cigarettes that came flying out of my pocket, and I was dead. I don't think even George Costanza could have lied his way out of that. And I was like, fuck. And that was a big production. So I got busted for smoking the day after this Iron Maiden concert, which would have been December 1st. That's one of my memories of this concert. As you saw Twisted Sister open, if I remember correctly, also the next day, I used to always clip the newspaper, the reviews from the newspapers the next day. I used to always buy the Toronto Star, the Toronto Sun. Sometimes they were, my dog is barking for some reason. For some reason, they were sometimes, for some reason was meant for the dogs. Sometimes they were 2 days later, sometimes they were the next day. I would look in the paper first, and if they were there, I'd buy it. And I would cut them out. I had a huge collection of newspaper reviews. And if I remember correctly, the guy who wrote it was probably Greg Quill, who always gave shitty reviews to metal concerts. I really hated that guy when I was a kid or a teenager, because he always had nothing nice to say about when Kiss played at Maple Leaf Gardens on the Lick It Up tour in '84. And I remember he said Cold Jim. They played Cold Jim. Jim, the man's name, not Jim where you go to exercise. And now if it was Greg Quill or somebody else, I'm sure in his review he said that, and I could be wrong about this. I know locally some people said this, that Twisted Sister blew Iron Maiden away. That is not true. So let me clear this up. For me, a band blowing another band away has to be that everybody in the crowd, the crowd in general, responds better to the opening band than the headliners. It's also not the headliner. I've heard some people say this band blew that band away, the headliner blew the opening band away. That's impossible. The headliner can't blow anybody away because they're the headliner. So there's no way. Now, Twisted Sister got a great reception. Everybody loved them. Stay Hungry was huge. I Want to Rock and We're Not Gonna Take It was inescapable. The crowd went fucking crazy for Twisted Sister, but nowhere near Iron Maiden. So those are some of my my memories of that. So that skews my. Maybe I would still love this album, but obviously when you have such an attachment to it as I do, I saw the tour. I have a tendency to like it more. Same with Scorpions Worldwide Live. I saw that tour also. That was the Love at First Thing or Live at First Thing tour. That was my first three concerts were Ozzy, April '84, and Rat. Scorpions with Quiet Riot, Kick-Axe Helix in August '84, August 17th. And Iron Maiden and Twisted Sister, November 30th, 1984. So imagine that. Also Van Halen, I didn't go, but Van Halen played on April 17th, 1984. I remember the date. Judas Priest played on April 2nd, April 9th or something, 1984. Great White, I remember opened that. Autograph opened for Van Halen. So out of my first three concerts, two of them, Scorpions Worldwide Live and Iron Maiden, the Power Slave Tour, became Live After Death, became these huge live albums. So that's also why I like this album. And also just, I think Iron Maiden and Kiss, they're neck and neck for the best artwork, packaging, overall experience of buying an album and maybe going to a concert as well. For me, in the last God knows how many years, Iron Maiden has far surpassed Kiss. Kiss was better in the 70s. Iron Maiden were better in the 80s. Musically and in terms of packaging and live and everything like that. 90s, neither one of them, that was quite different. But Iron Maiden are the kings. It's hard for me to resist an Iron Maiden shirt or a Kiss shirt. Now, the packaging for this, I'll describe it before I open it. It was obviously a gatefold. I haven't had this record. I bought it, of course, when it came out. Very likely the day it came out, sometime in so it was recorded, I guess, in March 85. It must have come out probably that summer. I don't remember exactly, or by the end of 85. And so it had the gatefold. The main picture in the middle that took up most of it was a long from the back of the arena of this full stage with Eddie in the coming up from behind the drums. And then a bunch of collage pictures, and then the sleeves on both sides. I think there was a booklet. I think there was a booklet. I remember the album covers were cool, and it maybe even had the lyrics, which is unusual for a live album. I'm not sure about that. I'm sure I remember it had all kinds of cool. Or was that the tour program? No, it must not have been the tour program. At one point, it was either this or the tour program that had all that, how many kilometers or miles they were traveling during this tour, how many liters of beer they drank, how many liters of orange juice they drank, how many drumsticks they went through, how many guitar picks. So if it was in the tour program, they must have been forecasting how many they were going to go through. Or it might have been in this. We will see. So I'm going to open it now. Now, Mike Pratt, who it's been well documented that guy doesn't like the unboxings, and they take a lot of time. So I've pre-deployed the blade of my knife to save time, so I don't have to hear bitching from Mike Pratt. And this looks puffy. I guess this is another different kind of packaging. Always a surprise. Oh no, it's just the what do you call this? All right, this is different too. It's just this, but no cardboard. It's not packed in cardboard. Yeah, every time I get a record from Amazon, it's different. So I don't get the dramatic unveiling of this album. And also there's no hype sticker on this. So I don't feel hyped. I feel gypped. So there it is. I would have liked to pull it out of cardboard. That was a little bit anticlimactic. Climactic or climatic? I think it's climactic, even though it's a climax. I'm not sure. There it is, Live After Death. It's very heavy. It's a double album. There's the spine. Not much to see on the spine. Great album cover. I love it, obviously. And that really does. I think visually when you... I've said this before. I think I said it recently. You think you're separating the cover from the album or the band's personal lives from the band's music or whatever. But it's hard to do that. When you see this, you automatically are, I think, more inclined to like the album. And there's the back. Everybody knows what this looks like. I don't have to have a little pause. Normally at this point I would pause to go take a picture of the hype sticker and then come back. But since there's no hype sticker here, I'll get right to it. And I ordered an album recently that had this too. I think it was Kiss Destroyer that had a little blemish there and in the exact same spot, that white spot. Huh, why is that? All right, any reason to not open it? No, I don't think so. And I'm gonna go through this track by track, as you would expect. Mike loves that. He's very happy. I could say anything I want about him right now, and he wouldn't even know because he skips through these, the unboxing or the opening. He's such an asshole, that guy. Who keeps the cellophane? Leave a comment down below. Do you keep the cellophane from your records when you buy them? Now something it's a very, very minor thing. This is glossy. It's not a big deal, but I was more excited when I've been opening the Kiss records lately and see that they're matte. I just think matte generally looks better. That's the most minor thing. All right, so I'm gonna open up the gatefold. You can see it even before I do. It should have the main picture in the middle is the, I think Steve Harris is mid-flight jumping from the drum riser. And with the Eddie in the background, am I right? Is Steve Harris jumping? He is, I remember that. There he is. Yeah, and the collage of photos. Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad to be on. It looks like it does have a good booklet and good sleeves. Okay, good packaging. Yeah, I feel like I have to get this out of my system. There are some more records that I feel like I need to buy. Oh, and something else I just remembered. Adrian Smith and Dave Murray, I think on this tour, I don't know if it was the whole tour, because I just saw the picture here of Adrian Smith. Or maybe it wasn't Dave Murray, maybe just Adrian Smith. We're using guitars that were made in Toronto. It was like a boutique guitar company, and I can't even remember the name of it, but they were from Toronto, and I don't think they ever played those guitars again. At least I don't remember them. All right, so let me take out the sleeve. It did have the lyrics. Yes, I remember this now. All right. So there, another nice. This is great packaging. This is all I need. You don't need posters and inserts and things like that. But give me some good pictures and lyrics, which again is rare for a live album. There's some good liner notes here. This is this is like about 4 or 5 paragraphs that Martin Birch wrote about the I guess the live recording process. So it was recorded over 4 nights. It says over 4 nights at Hammersmith Odeon, London, and 4 nights at Long Beach Arena in LA. Okay, so sides 1, 2, and 3, I knew this, were recorded at Long Beach. Side 4 was at Hammersmith. Scream for Me Long Beach, Scream for Me Hammersmith. And just a minute. I'll take out the other sleeve before I get to the other record, before I get to the booklet. All right, again, nice collage. There's a lot of pictures there. Very cool. And you used to listen to this and look at it. Now you listen to music and you look at your phone and you're distracted. All right, there it is. And also, there it is. And also, I saw this retro tour. Everybody knows they did, it was Somewhere Back in Time tour in 2008, 2009. I saw that tour twice or 3 times. Twice. It was so good to hear. To hear, it wasn't an exact recreation of this. It was, actually not even that close. Same stage set, more or less, but in terms of songs, they were quite different. But they played Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner, which I'm going to talk about, and Power Slave, and some other gems. All right, now the booklet that's in here. Do you call this a booklet, or is this I remember this now. Oh, I love it. And it feels like it's about maybe 10 or 12 pages. There's the back. And going through this page by page, I remember this. These are all the dates they played. Man, bands, obviously at this point, I guess they were in their mid-20s and they could tour forever, night after night, maybe one night off a week. Now, they take 3 nights off between shows. I don't know if they ever play back-to-back shows anymore. Maybe Iron Maiden does. Yeah, when they played in Mexico City in 2019, they played 3 nights. 2 of them were back-to-back. All right. First show was August 9th, 84 in Warsaw. I remember that was. And the last show was July 5th, 85 in Laguna Hills, California. That's a long time. That's 11 months. All right, next page. I guess each, I see. Maybe each member gets a page. So there's Steve Harris, and then the 5 guys here. Each of them gets a row. And I think the next page is going to be, oh no, that's not. It seems that's the only one. Steve Harris is the only one who gets featured prominently. Oh, and it's not nearly as many pages as I thought. It's only, including the cover, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8. It's 8 pages, just like the Kiss Alive booklet. It feels weird to call this a booklet because it's large. All right, and then this is 72 Seasons. Metallica clearly stole the idea for 72 Seasons from this. I had forgotten that it was that, but as soon as I see that bright yellow and black. No, I guess it was in the tour program, and I did have that tour program. I wonder if I still have it somewhere at my mother's house, maybe, that had all those facts, how many cokes they had and orange juice and whatever. I love this kind of stuff. PA front system specs, total power 152,000 watts. The monitor system, lighting system. Each of this is real nerd stuff. But I love it. And I'm not even a musician, but this is very interesting for me to read, at least to some extent. All the equipment that they used on the tour, detailed for each member. Their daily crew work schedule, rigging call at 8, lighting call at 9, PA call at 10, and then a lighting crew meeting, monitors at 1, backline crew at 2, blah, blah, blah. Sound check by the band at 4 o'clock. Dinner for crew at 6 o'clock. Show starts at 7:30. The opening band finishes at 8:15. Iron Maiden starts at 8:45. Show ends at 10:30. And then the last step is at 2 o'clock a.m. Finish loading trucks, shower, into the buses, and travel to the next show. What a life that is. There it is. So that's the packaging anyway. It's a great reason to love this album, honestly. It's the packaging. So getting to the actual album track by track. And keep in mind, this is one of my second favorite live album ever. And the album that they were touring behind, Power Slave, which I may or may not talk about at some point. I will. Of course I will. If I can get it. It's too expensive. I've looked for it. It's more than I'm willing to pay. Of course, this starts with the Churchill speech intro. We shall go on. We shall fight in the air. We shall fight on the beaches. We shall fight in the backyard. We shall fight in the parking lot. That speech going into Aces High. Aces High is a top, and I'll try not to be hyperbolic about this, studio versions. And I should say also, Iron Maiden, I've talked about this with Kiss, comparing the live versions with the studio versions. In most cases, I think the Kiss live versions were better, especially from the first 3 albums, were better than the studio versions. With Iron Maiden, they more than any other band, I think at least bands that I like, they play almost exactly live how their records were. Maybe some people don't like that, some people do like that. I don't know why you can't like them both. They play pretty much at the same tempo. Sometimes they speed up a little bit. I think Hallowed Be Thy Name, I think they play a little bit slower live, which I like. I think it has more atmosphere live, Hallowed Be Thy Name. But everything, they don't change any, even now, I don't think, they don't tune down. They don't change the tempo. They don't restructure it. So when I talk about the songs on this album, I'm more or less talking about the studio versions as well. So Aces High, for me, top 5 Iron Maiden song of all time. I don't know if it's 5 or 1, probably not 1. But, oh my God, Aces High, I can never get enough of that song. When I saw them on the, what was that tour called in 2019? Not Somewhere Back in Time, not Made in England, whatever that tour was that they did in 2019. Was it that one or, yeah, it was 2019. They opened with Aces High. I saw that tour 3 times, 3 nights in Mexico City. And I can't remember if it was the first night or the second night. I think the first night during Aces High, after maybe the first minute or so, I think it was maybe when the solo came in, I seriously started to feel choked up. I wasn't crying, but I was just kind of overcome by emotion. I guess it was just, I wasn't thinking about it, but I think it hit me that, Jesus, I've been listening to these guys at that point for 36 years, whatever that was. And 37 years at that point. It's now been 41 years, so I guess it was 38 years at that point. 37 years. And then here I am, 50 at that time, 49-year-old guy, almost 50, still listening to them, still watching them, still seeing them in an arena with 22,000 people. It's a big arena in Mexico City. And just hearing Aces High again really made me feel great. 2 Minutes to Midnight is next. Just like the album on Power Slave, those are the first two songs. Great live song, great song. It's not a top 5, maybe not even top 10, but I love 2 Minutes to Midnight. Here's a song off the Peace of Mind album. This song is called The Trooper. A lot of people don't like The Trooper, or they're just tired of it. I am maybe more towards the latter. I'm tired of it. If they dropped it, I wouldn't complain about it. But, and you know, it's a short song by Iron Maiden standards. It's 4:10, 4.5, whatever. It's a crowd pleaser. It's a sing along. It's dramatic and it's short. It's got a good place in the set. The Trooper. Revelations. This one now. I didn't. For some reason, I never got Peace of Mind. I got the first Iron Maiden album I ever got was Number of the Beast in 1982, then Power Slave. For some reason, I never got Peace of Mind until much, much later on CD. I never had the record. Don't know why. And then I got them all after that. Now, this time, I was not familiar at all with Revelations, so the song was new to me. So when the album came out, Revelations was really my first time. I mean, hearing Revelations on Live After Death was my first time really hearing it, and I didn't really like it that much. And then looking back on it, now that's one song that is much better live. I think the studio version of Revelations is kind of slow, a little bit lifeless, plodding, and the live version were like a little bit faster. It's got a little bit more in it. And then when they played that one again on the Somewhere Back in Time tour that I saw in 2008, 2009, everybody was so excited that they brought Revelations back, and I thought, I would have preferred if they had put in, I don't know, something else. And so they played it live, and I just thought, it's okay. But then when the equivalent of Live After Death to Power Slave came out, which was Flight 666, which came out after the Somewhere Back in Time tour. Watching the video and listening to that album, I love Revelations. Revelations is an awesome song. Nice to see ya nice. I think that's at Revelations that he says that one. And then something I remember about Revelations, and in all the years since this album came out, almost 38 years. This came out in 85. I've never ever, I've heard a lot of Iron Maiden conversations in real life. I've had a lot of them. I've seen discussion online, Iron Maiden forums, the real dedicated Iron Maiden fans. Not one person I've ever seen, I've never discussed this with anybody, but I know everybody knows it. At the end of Revelations, I think it's Revelations, the song ends, I think it's Nico hitting the ride, and then you hear, it sounds kind of off mic, but it's clearly audible. You hear, "Motherfucker!" And I don't know if it's somebody on stage saying it. I don't know if it's somebody in the crowd that the mic caught or whatever. I have no idea. There's got to be a story behind that. I don't know if it was added as in a post, like as a post-production, like they enhance it or something. But and honestly, I don't usually, as much as I appreciate comments and respond to them, I don't say, leave a comment down below. But seriously, does anybody know what I'm talking about? Everybody, if you know this album, must know, "Motherfucker." You hear it off mic. What's the story behind that? I don't know, but that's what I remember about that. Flight of Icarus, "Scream for me, Long Beach Arena." Scream for me, Long Beach Arena, the Flight of Icarus. I like this one. This is another one that I like better live than on Peace of Mind. As the live version, as the sun breaks above the ground, an old man stands on the hill, "Let it go." I love that little ad-lib by Bruce. Amazing song. Love Flight of Icarus. I was very happy that they brought it back on the that tour that I can't remember the name of that they did in 2019. So you would have flipped this over at this point, and the next song you would have heard is "The Rime of the Ancient Mariner." And I can't do Bruce Dickinson's voice or anybody's voice. Now I have to put this down, and that means I'm getting serious. I've cited this before. It's very hard to pick a favorite band. It's even harder to pick a favorite album out of all the albums you buy, because I've bought 2,000 albums in my life. Think of how many songs you've heard in your life. 10,000? No, if you buy 2,000 albums, 10 songs an album, that's 2 million. You've heard 2 million songs. So it's hard to pick one single song. But I can do it, and I would say The Rime of the Ancient Mariner. I've cited The Rime of the Ancient Mariner as being the one song out of everything. Forget about Kiss and Van Halen and Black Sabbath and Slayer and Metallica. For me, Rime of the Ancient Mariner is the big daddy of all of them. I could be wrong, and I'm not even sure what other contenders there would be. I think I've said I, Mother Earth, So Gently We Go. I would put that up there. But my God, Rime of the Ancient Mariner, and I should maybe I'll save a little bit. This is a teaser. When I eventually get Power Slave, which could be next week, it could be in a year, it might be never if it continues to be too expensive. I'll save some more for what I would want to say about the Rime of the Ancient Mariner and how much I love it and how much it means to me. I especially love the version on, I don't want to talk too much about Flight 666, but the version on Flight 666, especially in the video, I think it's better when you can see the crowd. The crowd was in New Jersey. They were going fucking crazy for Rime of the Ancient Mariner, singing along, headbanging, a joy to watch. That was a great crowd during Rime of the Ancient Mariner. Not in this video. And by the way, there wasn't a companion video for this too on VHS, which I had and God watched all the time. I was watching this one, Live After Death, and the Kiss Animalized Live Uncensored, and Motley Crue Uncensored. I watched those religiously all the time in 80, I guess that was 85. Power Slave is next. So that's the third song. I said Aces High is one of my five favorite Maiden songs ever. Rime of the Ancient Mariner is maybe my favorite song ever by anybody. Power Slave is also top 5 probably Iron Maiden songs. So if you've got Aces High, Rime of the Ancient Mariner, and Power Slave, you know how much I love the Power Slave album. It's for sure a top 10 album of all time for me, maybe top 5. That depends, but I love it. It's not, and Iron Maiden was not ever really like a heavy band, but it was, and I think Power Slave was not heavy, but it was kind of dark. It had a great tone to it. And that great bass, into the abyss I fall, the eye of Horus. I can't get enough of Power Slave, and very dramatic. From the end of the chorus, the end of the verse into the chorus. Tell me why I had to be a power slave. Very dramatic. Amazing song. And then the last song on side 2, the first record, The Number of the Beast. I don't know if that's quite top 5. It could be. I don't think I ever got sick of that one. It was kind of a, they still play it on almost every tour. It's clearly one of their staples. I think that song is a great representation of what Iron Maiden is. I love Run to the Hills, but I don't think it's nearly as good as a representation of what Iron Maiden sounds like as The Number of the Beast. The woe to you, O earth and sea, for the devil sends the beast with wrath, because he knows your time is short. Let him who hath understanding reckon the number of the beast, for it is a human number. Its number is 666. And then into the album, and then just Bruce singing over the guitar and the do 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 do, the bass, and then that giant scream, which I think he had some problems with Martin Birch when they recorded that in the studio for The Number of the Beast. Number of the Beast, amazing, top-notch Iron Maiden song. The next side, Hallowed Be Thy Name. I think that's probably one of these like classic rock magazine or Kerrang or Metal Hammer or something like that did a poll some years ago for fan chosen Iron Maiden albums, Iron Maiden songs, and Hallowed Be Thy Name was listed as number 1. It's not, I wouldn't say it's in my top 10, but I do love it, and I definitely see that people would see it. It's another very dramatic one, especially when they play it live. When they played it again live on that 2019 tour, which I can't remember the name of, it was very dramatic. Bruce had the gallows, the rope and the noose. Great song. Great. They closed No, that was. Did they close with that one on that tour? They closed with "Hallowed Be Thy Name" on the Somewhere Back in Time tour. And then next is Iron Maiden. Arguably, maybe one of the first. I think I've never heard anybody say this. Not that I'm the most original guy, but I've never heard anybody say that Iron Maiden, the song, was maybe proto speed metal or thrash metal. I think that was a pretty fast song, along with "Let There Be Rock," very thrashy. It's another staple, live staple like Trooper. I don't particularly like it. And now this is the first. I'll talk about something here quickly, or maybe not quickly. This is the first Paul Di'Anno song in the set. Oh, big news! Stop. Just announced last night, Paul Di'Anno is playing in my city. I live in Cuernavaca. Cuernavaca is not a city that's really known for anything except great weather. The best weather in the country. Some people have said the best weather in the world, the best climate. Nothing, and it's a nice town. It's. I like living here. I've lived here 17 years, but nothing really happens here. But Paul Di'Anno is playing here. I just saw this announced late last night. Actually, tickets. You know what? Tickets went on sale, I think 1 minute ago. If you see, it's about $334 now. Tickets went on sale at $333, half of $666. I guess they couldn't put them on sale at $666. They could have put it up maybe on sale at $706. Maybe that would be the same. But yeah, they said tickets were going on sale at $333, which was about 1 minute ago. So Paul Di'Anno is playing here. I'm going for sure, and I'm not a big fan of the first one. I love the first one, Killers. I know a lot of people love Killers. I'm not that big on that, but I will definitely see Paul Di'Anno. This is for somebody legendary like Paul Di'Anno to play in Cuernavaca, it's a must go. I saw Neil Turbin, the original Anthrax singer. He played here last summer. So Paul Di'Anno, now at this point when I saw the tour in 1984, I don't think I had ever heard a I had maybe heard Women in Uniform because they played the video for that often on the Power Hour, Midweek Metal Mania, whatever, Metal Monday. But I definitely didn't have Killers nor the first album. I didn't buy those until the 90s, early 90s maybe, on CD. Never had them, never had the record. So this is my introduction to that. Actually, this album was my introduction to, and I guess the concert was my introduction to Paul Di'Anno version of Iron Maiden, similar to my friend Kevin Montavon, who I've referenced a lot. He was introduced to Black Sabbath through Ozzy's Speak of the Devil, which was, it was Ozzy's solo band, but they played all Black Sabbath songs in that concert, and that was his introduction. He first heard those songs from Ozzy on Speak of the Devil, not the Black Sabbath versions. So that's with me. The first versions I heard of these Paul Di'Anno songs was Bruce singing them on, there was two songs, I guess, that they played live, Iron Maiden and Running Free. And then later on this album, there was also 2 on side 4, which I'm going to get to momentarily. So Iron Maiden, yeah, it's the big deal. Eddie comes out, the backdrop behind Nico or above Nico and things like that. They'll never drop that song. I like it. I think I'd rather hear the Trooper than Iron Maiden, but they've closed at that for as long as I can remember. Run to the Hills, the first Iron Maiden song I ever heard in my life was Run to the Hills, and I think that's a great song. I guess I was a little bit tired of it, but I remember hearing that and thinking, I really like this kind of music. This was Number of the Beast was one of my real first introductions to heavy metal, along with Paranoid around the same time. Maybe Paranoid was 2 years earlier, I think. Van Halen, Fair Warning, maybe a year before. Diary of a Madman around the same time. But Run to the Hills was a very, very early influence for me. Love it. Running Free. Now, this was huge. This was when this album came out, and then the live, the VHS home video came out. They had a clip of Running Free. Now, on the album and in the long-term video, it was like 8-9 minutes, something like that. A big sing-along. Right side, left side, people in the back, everybody, I'm running free, yeah. They cut it down to like a 4-minute video to show like on the video shows. And I liked it, but I clearly wasn't as attracted to the Paul Di'Anno songs as I was to the Bruce songs. Maybe if I don't think it was Paul versus Bruce because I first heard Bruce singing them, but they were pretty different, not just vocally, but the first two albums compared to what they did starting on Number of the Beast, they were much different. And then side 4. So that was the end of the Long Beach show. This is a long one. This has been around an hour and a half already. Wrathchild. I love Wrathchild of the Paul Di'Anno era songs, at least on this album. Iron Maiden, Running Free, Wrathchild, and Phantom of the Opera. Wrathchild is for sure my favorite. I love Wrathchild. Even now, love it. And I've seen them do that live on a couple of tours since then. Number 22. Acacia Avenue. That's a maybe not quite top 5 Iron Maiden song, but love it. That's part of the Charlotte the Harlot trilogy. Charlotte the Harlot, 22 Acacia Avenue, and then was it Hooks and You? I think it was. 22 Acacia Avenue is a smoking song. Love it. Studio or live, amazing. Children of the Damned, which who wrote that? Bruce Dickinson or Steve Harris? They admitted that they lifted the title from Black Sabbath, Children of the Sea. He's walking like a small child. That's a great one too, and I love Number of the Beast too. I would put it at number 3 of my favorite Iron Maiden albums. Die with Your Boots On. If you're gonna die. That was his introduction. If you're gonna die. And I forgot the introduction of. How could I forget? The Rime of the Ancient Mariner introduction, of course. The moral of this story is this is what not to do if your bird shits on you. The Rime of the Ancient Mariner. Die with your boots on. For me, it's a little bit repetitive. If you're going to die, die with your boots on. If you're going to try, just if you're going to die. I don't really like, and even now, I don't like Peace of Mind that much. I think most people like it a lot more than I do. Revelations is awesome, although the studio version is not the best. Where Eagles Dare is amazing. The Trooper is great. Tired of it, but great. Still Life is excellent. What else? Sun and Steel. That song's pretty good. What's the one about dinosaurs roaming the earth? That song sucks. That's for classic Iron Maiden, that's their version of Kiss's Dirty Livin'. To Tame a Land, that's what that song is called. And then the last song is Phantom of the Opera. Let's say Phantom of the Opera. I can kind of repeat what I said about Revelations. When they did this 2008 Somewhere Back in Time tour, and they added Phantom of the Opera back in the set on the second leg of it, Maiden fans were freaking out. They were playing Phantom of the Opera, and I thought, I don't really care for that song. Love it now. That was a sign of from their first album, a sign of how they would be, years later playing these long, I guess more complex songs. But no, I really like Phantom of the Opera now. So that's it. That felt excessively long, but it worth it. This is a great album. I talked about this with Kill 'Em All the other day. How it's not just that I like it; it was just a huge, very important album for me. Number 2 ever of live albums. That's it. Iron Maiden, Live After Death. Stay tuned for more. Maybe this week, maybe next week, but there will be more. See ya.